So the Musketeers will start the second quarter of play from the Aiken 45-yard line. A little trickery underneath, and it's going to work. It's going to be a first down into the hands of Cordaven Wanman, who just took the little flip and took it 11 yards.
Well, he had the nice block earlier on the run by Knowles, and now he gets to be the ball carrier. By the way, Knowles, 8 carries in the first quarter for 65 yards. Total yards, ARC up 82-37. There's no passing yards. All that's on the ground from both teams. Penalties, 1 for 10 yards against Aiken, 2 for 15 against ARC. The big difference, the turnover by Aiken and the muffed punt by Aiken. Both of those have really keyed what ARC's doing right now.
4 wide for the Musketeers, going for it all. It is complete. It is D.T. Stevens. It is a touchdown, Richmond Academy.
Well, I said he's one of the best athletes, if not the best on the field. More known for basketball, but there you see he's got some ability in football as well. Nice throw by Cobb also. Give your guys a chance to make a play.
You no sooner said we've had no passing yards in this game.
Yeah.
Then they unload with a 35-yarder right down the gut for another touchdown for Richmond Academy. That'll make it 13-0.
And kicks for college again from GMC. And, yeah, Richmond Academy, 1 touchdown on the ground and 1 through the air. And they lead it 13-0 as we await the extra point.
And it is good again off the foot of Pickett, and it is 14-0. Richmond Academy leading Aiken. Just 15 seconds gone now here in the second quarter.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Mason Cobb's not big, but he can sling it. And he's not afraid to sling it downfield, which I like.
And that particular pass was thrown into some traffic, but once Stevens went up and got it, it was like the sea parted for him.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I said, sometimes when you've got guys like Clyde L. White and guys like D.T. Stevens, you don't mind, and I know Lyle Burns doesn't want any turnovers, but you don't mind your quarterback throwing it up and letting those guys make plays when you have those kind of playmakers.
Want to remind you, if you're just joining us or you forgot to set your DVR, we will have a rebroadcast of this game coming up this Sunday at noon over on WJBF News Channel 6.
That's right. Catch the game. And, of course, I mentioned a few scores. You can catch all those tonight, 11:35 with, of course, Nathan Palm. And Nathan and Zach both doing a great job covering the entire area. Their load was lightened by 2 games because of the games played last night. Some teams pushed those games up due to expected inclement weather in the area, but I think the weather's nicer tonight than it was last night.
It is darn near perfect here on Walton Way. This is DeAndre Bynum on the return for Aiken, and he is going to bring it up to about the 39-yard line before somebody grabbed his ankle and knocked him down. I believe that was Cameron Hughes that might have come up to get him.
Yeah, Cameron Hughes, and he got some help from Chris Darlington, I believe, as well.
This is not what J.W. Montgomery wanted for the start for his Aiken Hornets.
J.W. Montgomery, I like that. He sounds like a boss hog type, a bigwig. I'm J.W. Montgomery.
Sheriff Montgomery.
I run Aiken.
He is the 3rd coach they've had in the last 6 years. You know, Aiken, you think of Aiken High School, you think of Kerry Johnson. He was there as the head coach for 18 years, still the athletic director. But this is the 3rd coach they've had since just 2010. They'll start this drive with Green, and he's got about 6 yards up to about the 45-yard line.
And we got a new quarterback in the game as well. Quindarius Corley, the senior, 5'11", 180, has come into the game to replace the starter, Corey Wallace. See if they can jumpstart a little offense here with the backup in the game. Richmond Academy up 14-0. Again, a score that might turn some heads in the area, but Richmond vastly improved, and Aiken did graduate some really good players over the last 2 seasons.
And again, they'll keep it on the ground, and that should be good for a first down up near midfield. It was Alex Thomas on the ball carry.
You know, some teams, John, they just aren't set up to throw the ball around and put up big offensive numbers through the air. So you really, it's tough when you fall behind. And now it's not nearly too early now for Aiken, or too late now for Aiken, but when you fall behind, you've got to be patient and continue to run the football and then maybe hit for that big play here and there. But that's what they've got to do right now, just stay patient. This game's not over by any stretch. It's early second quarter.
Corley out of the gun, high snap. He'll get it to Green, and Green's gone through the middle. Nothing between him and the end zone but grass Green, touchdown, Aiken.
That'll help your patience a little bit. I tell you, Green looked great on the first run of the game, and he looked great right there. And Aiken answers the second touchdown from ARC with a score of their own. And I like as he crossed the goal line, he did the little stretch to break the, like a
marathon runner.
Yes,
yeah,
like a sprinter.
45 yards on the touchdown run for Green, and just like that, Aiken right back in the ball game with the extra point, trying to pull them within 7.
They've got, of course, the misalignment here where they have everybody off to the left. I don't know how much of a fan I am of this. I don't know what purpose it serves necessarily.
I've always wondered that.
Yeah. I guess you're setting yourself up for maybe later in the game pulling some sort of fake. But I think when teams go for 2, they're just going to go for 2. They're not going to run it out of a fake kick situation.
And this is McKay, and again, it is good. So, Aiken has cut the deficit in half. It is now 14-7 with 10:29 to play here in the half. We'll take time out and come back to ARC Stadium after this. 14-7. Musketeers lead on Game Night Live. Aiken to kick off. Now down just 14-7 after the long touchdown run by Jeremiah Green. And this will be caught at the 21-yard line by D.T. Stevens. And the Richmond Academy offense will come back onto the field with 10:29 to play in the half.
Yeah, Stevens already has a touchdown in the game. As I said, he's a real explosive basketball player for the Musketeers and Steve Nobles and their program. They've had some really good success in basketball in the last decade or so under Coach Nobles. Matt gave us an explanation of that kick formation that both teams have used tonight on the extra point. He says it's so the opposition has to practice that, setting up against that. But then potential trick plays is what I said. But then it would stand to reason the offense has to practice it too, though. So, but yeah, that's what they're setting it up for. I think is a possible trick play down the line. Find out White on the run.
Keeps it on first down, and he was knocked down by,
I believe it was 28.
Yeah, I was trying to find 28. David Neal gets his name called for the first time tonight. So that'll move the chains, and the Musketeers will be at the 37-yard line.
I like what they do when they don't just take Cobb out of the game when they bring in White. They've got Cobb spread out, so they can do a lot of stuff with this offense. Kind of versatile. And here's White.
White keeps again. He's got to the sideline and across midfield to the 45-yard line before he's knocked out of bounds. And again, it was Neal.
Fidel White, we said he's one of their game breakers, and you see the speed there. 2 good athletes right there side by side, White and D.T. Stevens.
So it'll be first down, inside 10 minutes to play in the half. This time the Musketeers will go 3 wide, and out of the gun is Mason Cobb. Cobb gonna keep to the 40 before he is hit hard by Talik Jones, who's just a sophomore for this Aiken defense.
That was very close to being a tackle for a loss. If he would have handed to the running back, I think it would have been. So good play by Mason Cobb, the quarterback, to keep that one. There you see Cobb and Knowles back there.
That's sort of that read option thing where, if you make the wrong call, here it goes again. This time the carry will go to Knowles, and he's got a first down to about the 30-yard line.
Well, I tell you, we were just impressed with the nice run by Jeremiah Green from Aiken, and he has the all-out speed. We saw that. But I'm going to tell you, I love how hard Malik Knowles runs the football. And Nathan was pointing out during the break, when he sees a lane, he puts that foot down, and he makes that cut, and he's gone into that hole.
So another fresh set of downs for the Musketeers, 4 wide this time. And Cobb to throw. He's got Stevens. Stevens tried to hurdle a man down at the 15-yard line, but he could not get over David Neal, who's had a pretty good defensive series here.
Well, they're in the Augusta Technical College red zone. Yeah, but if you're Coach Montgomery, though, you don't want him having a big – that means the defensive back's making most of the tackles for you. As you saw there, a good throw again. Cobb, not a big guy, but he's got a big arm on him for sure.
It's a first down at the 15. White is now at quarterback. He'll keep it. He gets a block, and not much more there. He'll do well to pick up maybe a yard.
Yeah, good job that time by Aiken to string that out a little bit. Looked like it was going to be big yardage, and they stopped it. And again, Talik Jones, man, he's a good-looking sophomore, John. 6 foot 195, number 10 in white. Good-looking 10th grader. And we're seeing more and more of that. You just didn't used to see that, John, where freshmen and sophomores made an effect on the varsity level in football, and we're just seeing it all over the place now.
They gave him about a yard and a half. Low snap, and it's Cobb to throw, and it's too short. Intended for a diving Tico Gowdy, but it'll bring up a third down.
So much of your passing game is based on timing, and once that ball is bobbled, the receiver's already out there and deeper than maybe the quarterback was ready for because he was slowed by that snap.
So big third down here in the second quarter for the Musketeers. It is 3rd and 8.
Some scores from around the area. Lincoln County leading Grovetown 13-7. We saw the Red Devils last week. Looked very good in their win over McCormick.
Cobb keeps, and somebody grabbed his ankle. Let's see if we can catch the number.
Looked like 56 maybe. 56 getting off the bottom. That's Kobe Quiller. There's Quiller right there, 230 pounds.
And he may have saved a first down. So now the Musketeers will take a timeout and talk about it, and we will do the same. So we have another Naples Infinity of Augusta timeout on the field. We will take one with them as well. 7:48 to play in the half on Game Night Live. So Richmond Academy elects to go for a field goal here. It's going to be a 26-yarder from right in the middle of the field. Hold is good. The kick is also good.
That's a great weapon in high school, John, when you can make those kicks.
Judson Pickett puts 3 more on the board for Richmond Academy, and the Musketeers now lead at 17-7 with 7:42 here to play in the first half.
Well, as far as scores go from around the area, one that I got caught a little grief. I picked Thompson to lose this week, but right now they lead Jefferson. That's not Jefferson County. That's Jefferson High School. They lead them 13-7 in the first quarter. Burke County is just taking the lead on Washington County 9-3. They're in the second, waiting the extra point there. And keep in mind, again, all your scores and highlights tonight on WJBF News Channel 6 with Nathan and Zach. That's coming up at 11:35. The area's only 30-minute show dedicated to high school football each and every week.
The Jefferson Dragons, just outside of the Athens area.
Yeah, good program for sure.
When I first got my start in broadcasting, working out of Toccoa, Georgia, we covered the Dragons on a regular basis.
There's Lyle Burns. Look at the Richmond coach on the sidelines.
He's got to be happy with what he's seen so far.
Yeah, no doubt about it. They, look, they knew. We were talking to some Richmond folks before the game. They knew this was a step up compared to Westside in competition. But so far, they've been ready and lead it by 10.
Pickett to kick it, and on the return will be DeAndre Bynum. Made the first man miss, not the second man, and the Hornets will have it at the 34-yard line.
Yeah, Bynum, nifty moves on the returns tonight so far for Aiken. Haven't been able to break one, but they got decent field position, and their offense now just needs to establish what they did in that first drive. The first drive, they were blowing people off the ball and really making things happen. They haven't done that really since.
Well, J.W. Montgomery talked all week about wanting to run the ball against this Musketeer defense. With 7:37 left in the half, this would be where you would want to put together one of those nice long ball control drives if you're Aiken.
Well, and it looks like Aiken's got a little bit of a size advantage up front. It showed on that first drive. It hasn't really showed since.
When Darius Corley still in at quarterback for Aiken, and that's going nowhere. Might have lost a yard.
Yeah, a host of black jerseys in there. John mentioned in the pregame, Richmond Academy, the oldest high school in Georgia and the 5th oldest in the country.
They have been on this particular site since 1926. But the school actually goes back to the 1700s. President George Washington gave a commencement address here.
I'm not too many years away from y'all picking on me for saying I was there.
Corley finds Green, and Green with some yards after the catch across midfield into Musketeer territory to about the 44-yard line.
I'd say I love the speed of this kid Green. You know, you can't give him an inch. I mean, if he gets behind you, you're not catching him. Great speed.
1783 was when Richmond Academy was founded. And George Washington was at the old building on Telfair Street in 1791.
I hope some young football players were watching that play. Richmond hit him hard twice, but they didn't wrap him up, and he broke both those tackles, and then finally somebody wrapped him up to make the play.
This time the carry goes to Green once again.
Can't arm tackle.
Oh, that was Thomas, I'm sorry.
You can't arm tackle, even little guys, because a lot of them are moving so fast, they're going to bust right through whatever you're trying to do. And like I said, he took a couple of shots, but because he wasn't wrapped up, he was able to gain extra yardage.
So it'll be 2nd and 5. As Thomas and Quindarius Corley talk it over. They're in the backfield now. Corley going to throw. And just dumps it off for Thomas, and he is met immediately at the 41-yard line, about a yard shy of the first down.
Yeah, nice hit, man. Couple of good hits there on that play.
Could be a nominee for our Augusta Payne Center hit of the game at some point.
Boy, we had so many good ones last week. And watch at the end of this play, the hit here, Augusta Payne Center possible hit of the game. Right, somebody holds him up right here. Bam, that second player comes in and
still can't see the number. Out of the gun, the carry will go to Green, and he gets stacked up and pushed back. Absolutely nothing on 3rd down. The Musketeer defense will get the ball back.
And by the way, number 55, Tadarius Davis, was the man who laid the hit on the last play.
So we'll keep that one in mind. So now the Ken Nugent one call, that's all moment for Aiken as they decide to go for it rather than punt. They're kind of in that gray area here. Yeah. Too long for a field goal, but close enough that if they don't get it here, the Musketeers wouldn't have terribly great field position.
Well, I say you get it to Green somehow.
Out of the gun, the carry will go to
the ball
Green,
in his hands,
and he gets stacked up and pushed.
Football, whatever you're going to do, I think 2 has to be the guy with the ball.
Green and Thomas are back there. It's Thomas that gets the call, and he's got nowhere to run. Yeah, the initial hit made by Chris Darlington for Richmond Academy, and the ball will turn over on downs. Great stand by that Musketeer defense.
Yeah, absolutely. It's almost like they knew what play was coming because they were right there. Darlington, all he had to do was stand and wait on the running back. There was nowhere else for Thomas to go.
Play took a little while to develop for a 3rd and 5 play, or 4th and 5 play, I should say.
Well, I agree. I think when you had your back on the right side coming all the way to the left on that play, and if you're going to use 2 as a decoy, I get it, but I don't know about him as a lead blocker.
And just dumps it off. Well, when I said the Musketeers wouldn't have great field position, I wasn't counting on a 5-yard loss. And this is going to be Aubrey Brown. He'll pick up 5. That's the 2nd time we've seen that little flip play.
I think. Yeah, check. That was Wyanman again. 23.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. And it's that same little play where he runs through, the quarterback just kind of flips it to him.
Yeah. And it's been effective both times they've run it.
And the good thing for Mason Cobb, that adds to his passing totals because that is considered a forward pass.
Matt Lane points out from the sideline that is the same play that West Virginia used to annihilate Clemson several years ago. Things have turned around for Clemson since then.
Yeah, I think they've had some good fortune since.
That is Knowles, and that's about as effective as Aiken's been against him all night, wrapping him up. I don't know if he got a yard.
Yeah, good stop. That was 56 Quiller, who we've called out a lot tonight.
So it's going to be 3rd down right near midfield, and Knowles will come to the sideline.
Well, when you've got a guy that can throw it and you've got other weapons that can run and line up at quarterback, there's a lot of things you can do.
They're going to try Mondavius Taylor, and Taylor makes 2 men miss, and it gets all the way down to the 38-yard line, a 1st down after initially being hemmed in for a loss.
So frustrating if you're a coach. They had him stopped, and 2 guys missed the tackle.
It ends up a 1st down for the Musketeers.
Each week we recognize the scholar athletes from each team, and tonight the Aiken Scholar of the Game is number 15. It's Austin McKay. Austin's a junior, the starting punter and kicker for the Hornets. He maintains a 3.3 GPA. He's also a part of the boys varsity soccer team, the FCA, Interact Club, Beta Club, Young Life. Congrats to Austin McKay, our Scholar of the Game from the Aiken Hornets.
On first down, it was Taylor, and he was stopped for absolutely nothing. Might have lost a couple. Kobe Quiller got back there.
Yeah, Quiller has been very busy. There you see him, 230 pounds, 6'4", up on that defensive front.
That is a lot of human. So the loss is 4. And with 2:18 and now less than that to play in the half, the Musketeers face 2nd and 14. Cobb to throw under pressure. Going to get rid of it toward the sideline. He has a man diving near the 30-yard line, but they're going to say it was incomplete. He was looking for Clydell White.
Well, if you're a coach, obviously you prefer it to be caught, but at least he got rid of the football because he was running for his life a little bit, but he was able to throw it and almost complete it.
So 3rd down. And the clock stops with 2:08 to play.
Yeah, we saw some monster individual performances last night. Evans quarterback Demetrius Taylor, both running backs at Harlem. The freshman Cameron Garnett had 4 touchdowns, and the transfer A.J. Brown from Grovetown had a big game, 256 yards and 3 scores.
And Richmond Academy is going to take a timeout to talk about it here. They had one more to give, or to take.
Mapleton Infinity timeout.
Mapleton Infinity of Augusta timeout.
And looking at the scores from around there, see if there's anything that really jumps out. It's a final, by the way. South Aiken bouncing back nicely from their loss to White Knoll. They lost in the closing minutes last week. They beat Swansea tonight, 51-0.
And you know, this Aiken team, South Aiken, is their crosstown bitter rival.
Yeah.
And for so many years, it was Aiken that ruled the roost over there.
Yeah.
And now, in the last couple of years, with South Aiken going to the quarterfinals last year, it's flipped.
It is flipped, no doubt about it. And by the way, we'll have that game later this year.
Looking forward to that one.
This month, later this month, I think 3 weeks away.
It's already September, isn't it?
Hard
wow.
to believe it.
So the Musketeers face a 3rd and 14, leading 17-7, as we play with 2 minutes and 6 seconds left here in the first half. Matt Lane making a prediction on the field, and he believes that D.T. Stevens will get the ball in his hands on this play.
Yeah, it's going to be Stevens or White, you would assume. One of the two. Actually, they got White.
Another bad snap. And White's going to make something out of nothing, but not enough. He'll get it inside the 40-yard line.
But again, they're in that position also. You know, what's the point in punting it away unless you really are sure your punter can pin it in deep? Why not just go for it here?
And they are looking to the sideline to see exactly what Lyle Burns wants to do. And you're right, AB. He looks like they're going to go for it. And I think Aiken wants to take a timeout now and talk about it.
Under 2 minutes to go now in the first half.
We'll keep it right here.
And, of course, keep it right here at the end of the game. We will announce our McDonald's offensive and defensive players of the game. And we've had some nice performances. Last week, Antonio Williams of Lincoln County, the first 3 touches he had in the game, he had 3 touchdowns, 2 receptions and a kick return. And again, at the end of the game, we will announce those winners. Matt Lane will have them down on the field. And college football this weekend.
College football kicking off. Well, it kicked off sort of last weekend, and then you had
87 games, though, starting last night to Monday.
What a weak slate of games last night. Remember the opening Thursday used to be a big deal.
Yeah. Indiana gave Ohio State trouble for a little while, but you sort of expected what happened to happen. And the Buckeyes pulled away, but your Georgia Bulldogs taking on App State to open the season.
As Lee Corso would say, closer than the experts think tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, App State's got a great program. We know that, but Georgia. Yeah, Nathan's saying blowout. I sort of think so, too. I think people are giving App State a lot of credit. I think Georgia's going to come ready to play.
So 4th down, they need 8 to keep the drive alive. And Cobb will throw for it. Stevens, intended receiver, almost made an acrobatic catch, but it is incomplete, and Aiken will take over with 94 seconds left.
Trying to do his Odell Beckham Jr. impression there. Almost brought it in. And then he would have this weekend is Florida State, Alabama, of course.
I thought you might get around to that one somehow. I also have a feeling we'll probably make some picks in the second half.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that for sure. Richmond Academy leading it by 10, but Aiken's got the ball with right around a minute and a half here. Let's see what they can do with it if they want to try to get some points here before halftime.
And with the exception of the big play earlier by Green, this is not exactly a quick strike Aiken offense.
You're right. Unless you get it to him in space and he makes a play, they don't seem to be, and they haven't had a lot of success throwing the ball.
Well, it is Thomas in the backfield on first down, and a flag immediately.
A snap infraction, Nathan's pointing out. By the way, when I say Nathan, it's Nathan Edwards, our statistician, and
false start.
Our spotter as well.
Offense. 5-yard penalty.
So that'll back up a 5. And the drive will start from the 30.
Because Nathan's a big Georgia fan, too.
Yeah.
Got a couple of Georgia fans up here.
He's a little more confident about tomorrow than I am.
Yeah. You're a little like me. I'm always a pessimist.
I'm a world's most pessimistic fan. Ask anybody that knows me. So Aiken will start the drive now from the 30-yard line out of the gun. It's going to be a keeper, and Corley's going to get hit hard by Isaiah Dorsey, whose name we've called a number of times tonight, and he might have lost a half a yard.
Yeah, there's a couple of Dorseys out there for Richmond, and Isaiah and Israel, and they both are really good. They both make plays from sideline to sideline. I said Aiken has the size advantage up front, but there's no doubt those linebackers for Richmond are super quick.
Clock continues to tick down toward a minute to play here. 4 wide for the Hornets. And the give is to Thomas. And again, absolutely nothing. Once again, it is Isaiah Dorsey.
Yeah, you want to talk about a form tackle? That was it. That is, young guys.
And he is fired up.
Parents, rewind this one or watch the rebroadcast on Sunday, because this is about perfect as far as what you want to do with a form tackle. You know what? Augusta Pain Center hit of the game, I don't know, but perfect tackle of the game, that might be the nominee, because that was exactly what you want to do.
They need 8. It's Corley to throw, and that's nothing there. And how about this? Richmond Academy is going to get the ball back with about 20 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, I think I don't know about the throw in there. If you might try to get in the locker room, and instead you're going to give a quick strike offense a chance with the ball here. Speaking of hits of the week, kudos to the WJBF staff, and I think it was Nathan Palm, because I saw what I think's the hit of the year. We saw some good ones last week, but George Welch from Aquinas had a hit in the Aquinas-Laney game that might be the hit of the year, and they caught it perfectly. So good job, WJBF. And I think it was Nathan who happened to be shooting that game.
23 seconds left in the half, and Aiken will punt.
And by the way, you can see that hit at WJBF.com. Just pull up FFN Week 2.
Oh! Ball is loose. Who's on it? If it's Richmond Academy, they are going to have a plum gift, and it is Musketeer ball at the 16-yard line.
Well, and with Pickett, you're automatically in field goal range, too. So even if you can't, make a big play and get in the end zone, Matt's pointing out he thinks that might be on the punter, not necessarily on anyone else, and we'll have to look at it.
What a turn of events in the last 20 seconds of this half. And we'll take another look at it. Or not. So 16 seconds left to play in the half. And a whistle blows. I believe we might have had timeout before the snap, and we did. Aiken takes timeout.
Aiken wants to talk it over. Our Napleton Infinity of Augusta timeout.
And now we're going to get another look at that muffed punt on the part of the Aiken Hornets.
Yeah, the snap looked good. Oh, yeah, the kicker just really low. Came off his toe really low.
And it looked like it was Jonathan Miniweather who was in the right place at the right time and had the ball hit him right in the chest.
Yeah, McKay now has had 2 muff punts. He had the one go off the side of the foot, and that one was low right into the Richmond defenders. So now ARC will try to add to their lead before we go to the locker rooms here for halftime.
And McKay was listed as day-to-day. He has an abdominal strain, and they said he would probably be able to kick tonight, but maybe not be able to play his normal position at wide receiver. And I don't know if that's affecting him or not.
Maybe it is, yeah. Maybe it's affected him because he's had two that just did not come off right.
All right, so here we go. 16 seconds left. Richmond Academy, 16 yards away from it. 3 wide right, 1 to the left. Cobb will roll to the right, look, throw, and overthrow.
Well, if you're Richmond, though, you've got another play at it.
So that'll stop the clock with 10 seconds left. And so I would say, you think 1 or 2 more snaps?
Well, I think at least one. That took 6 seconds,
Yeah.
so I think you have at least one more shot at the end zone, then you kick it. And you're right. Unless you just want to take 2 shots at it, the kick would be from where they are about 33 yards maybe. And maybe you take 2 shots at the end zone. Let's see.
Again, 4 wide. Again, Cobb, this time to the left side, and it is touchdown! What a catch in the corner of the end zone. And I believe it was Clydell White, although we're going to take a closer look at the number as he runs closer to us. And nope, that was number 5, Tico Gowdy, with a tremendous grab falling backwards in the end zone.
I like the play design. They had 2 receivers on that left side, and one got behind the defender, and Cobb threw it up. Say, Cobb, that's another pinpoint pass there. Threw it, let his guy make a play on the ball.
Judson Pickett on for the point after.
Cobb now with 4 touchdown passes in 2 games.
And the extra point is good with 5.1 seconds left to play in the half. The Musketeers extend the lead to 24-7. What a turn of events, AB, in the last few seconds of this half.
Well, it just goes to show you again, especially when you're not a quick strike offense, you're trying to establish the run. When you're doing that, you can't turn the ball over. Your whole game plan is to keep the ball. And they've had an interception, they've had 2 shank punts, and Richmond Academy has made them pay each time.
So 5 seconds left until the half. You'll want to stick around at the half. We'll probably listen into this Richmond Academy band, who I heard warming up before the game. They're tremendous.
Yeah, my son came with me to the game, and he got out and he goes, man, he goes to middle school. He said, they're a lot better than our band. I started laughing. I said, yes, son, I think they're pretty good.
Well, they were in middle school at some point, too.
Yeah. We saw them marching in, and even coming into the stadium, they were pinpoint right with one another.
I put a little bit of that on my John Hart WJBF Facebook page. Same shameless plug. You can also see it at John Hart WJBF on Twitter. You know, if you're bored. So, Richmond Academy to kick off, and you would imagine Aiken might have time for 1 snap. If I had my guess, I would say they'll probably just kneel on it and go to the locker room.
Yeah, you would think so, especially, they've had some miscues already. So, a lot of those won't go in the books as turnovers, but in my eyes, they've had 3, even though there's only 1 interception. Those 2 punts are really turnovers, basically.
Aiken will take the ball.
So Aiken will have the ball with 5 seconds left.
5.1 seconds.
I mean, you could always try to heave one, I suppose.
Yeah, that signal right there is the same.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you have a better chance at heaving one or trying to run everybody long and then throw a short one to Green? I think Green's your best option. Look, when in doubt for me, I'm going to give it to number 2.
Green and Thomas are in the backfield with Quindarius Corley. And looks like they will just try something short. It is to Green. Good call, AB, and he's up the middle. And that is almost like taking a knee without taking a knee.
It is.
The
if
Hornets
he breaks it, great, but probably he's not going to. You're right.
So the Hornets will take it to the locker room, down 17. All right, so let's take it down to the sidelines and Matt Lane with our Augusta Auto Auction sideline report. Matt.
Thank you, John. Coach, first half, 24 points. Got to certainly be happy about that. Looked like you made a lot of some of the turnovers and maybe bad special teams play from Aiken in the first half.
Yeah, we caught a few breaks, and it was good that we capitalized because, they're pretty good. So it's been tit for tat out there. We just got a few breaks, and it went our way.
It looks like y'all have been playing a little more aggressive than they have. Can you speak to that at all? And maybe, something, it doesn't seem like you have really a rah-rah bunch on the side, but they really are playing hard offense and defense, very physical.
Yeah, play calling, I don't know if we've been more aggressive. We've just taken some shots, and we've been fortunate that we've converted on them.
All right, good luck in the second half.
All right, thank you.
Got it. Back to you, John.
All right, Matt Lane with a coach who I would imagine is very happy, Coach Lyle Burns, AB.
That's if anybody knows Coach Burns, that's as happy as it gets. That is as happy as it gets, I promise.
Well, his team is playing very well, up 17 here. So we are at the half at ARC Stadium with your score, the ARC Musketeers 24, the Aiken Hornets 7. We'll be back with the halftime show right after this on Game Night.